Hey guys, Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. I am the president of the Maxfield Report, and here is your market recap for the week ending March the 22nd. Week started off like it has the past several weeks with Packers offers unchanged. They're trying to do the best they can to try to hold the market steady. The only real noticeable change was we started to see offers of heifer hides, and that is not unusual for this time of year because by the middle of April, on a historical basis, we will start to see quite a number of heifers in the mix. So looks like they're trying to get ahead of that as this week. As far as interest this week, it started out a little bit slow. There were still a couple of the Packers who were traveling in Asia. We understand that those who were traveling were looking for voluminous type sales along with the Packers here in the States. A lot of claims that the end of last week and this week there was some direct business being done by the Packers with some of their usual preferred customers. It is believed that the trading was at levels at least a couple, if not $3 lower than their official asking price. In fact, some of the levels we heard trading was anywhere from 35 to 36 delivered on heavy Texas steers, and even claims that there was some business done as low as $34 delivered on Texas steers, but we cannot confirm that, although we are working to try to find that out. So overall, the interest, at least for, or I should say bids for traders this week, they report that they did not have a very busy week. It appears that the trading that did take place was, again, direct business by Packers. That's always really difficult to understand how much is being done. But if some of these prices that they're taking are true, and I tend to believe it, they've certainly done it in volume. So we're going to say sales this week will probably exceed last week. I don't know if they sold enough to clear a week's worth of production. We'll find out in next week's export report, but overall, the tone of that Packer market is definitely lower as Packers have resigned themselves to taking less money. On the cow side, excuse me, offers unchanged. It appears there's been enough business interest, I should say, this week to conclude some business. It allowed producers to hold prices steady. There was attempts by buyers to take push the processors, I should say, to take less money. They held out. And it looks like for all intents and purposes that market traded at steady levels. However, the opinion is it's unlikely that they were able to sell a week's worth of production. As far as the export report this week, the wet salted sales were better, coming in about 360,000. That's about 80,000 better than the week prior. It's still a little bit short of what's being produced. That continues a trend we've seen every week this year, except the first week of January. Wet blue sales, 144,000. That's up about almost 20,000 from the week prior. So overall, combined sales, 503. As a comparison, the harvest last week was at 603,000. So didn't clear the production. That continues a trend. On a positive note, the shipments continue to be strong. Shipments were 567,000. That's almost knocking out that harvest. So that's the third week in a row we've seen a very strong shipping. The number that jumped out on us in the report was the outstanding sales of wet salted hides. That's at 2.2 million, and that's as low as anybody can remember, at least in the last 10 years. Quick trip around the globe. Our friends from Europe say interest or demand for the male/bull hides remains dismal. Lots of people with hides for sale. Rumors that trading's going to have to be at least close to $3 to $5 US, lower than the last levels for guys to step in and buy. So we'll have to see if that comes to fruition. Interest on cows seems to be okay, not great. While there still appears to be some decent inventories of some ox heifers for sale there, same as there is in every other origin around the world. There's just a lot of hides for sale. Down in Brazil, situation unchanged. Still lots of product for sale as far as wet blue. I have reports that fresh hides have now dropped below that one re-ice level. Waiting for final confirmation on that, but that doesn't surprise us. On sales of wet blue, definitely at the show, there's lots of people who had lots of inventory, lots of offers. Rumors of low as 55 to 57 cents. I know the guys who make the blue would like to tell you they can get 60 cents. I don't think that can be possible, especially if you're asking somebody to buy volume and you certainly are looking to take things quickly. Over in Australia, Our friends there tell us that the market is just like everywhere else. It's a little bit sideways, if not drifting a little bit lower. Interest is falling short of what's being produced. Harvest levels a little higher than normal this time of year. So the overall picture continues to appear as if there's more supply than demand. That said, one thing I glazed over on the U.S. side, I wanted to bring to everybody's attention. The harvest this past week was 631,000. That is the largest number of the year. That compares to 597 last week and 611 a year ago. The other number that jumps out at us is that we finally have moved ahead of last year's pace on the harvest. We are 10,000 over. If you remember, all year long I've been telling you we will exceed last year. We're probably going to be about 1.5% higher. So we're going to continue to see lots of hides coming at people. So looking ahead to next week, I think that the proverbial water has been broken on lower prices. I think that this market remains under pressure. There is absolutely more supply than demand. If I were a producer, I would continue to sell into this market. I would want to make sure that I am doing business with people who have the reputation of taking and honoring their contracts and paying their bills on time, because I think it's your first sale is going to be your best sale. So that's it for this week. Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. Check out my website, www.themaxfieldreport.com. I do offer free, no obligation trials, 14 days. So take advantage of that. Hope to see you somewhere down the road here. And that's all for this week. And we'll check in next week.